It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Coastal Carolina football recruiting operations intern, Noelle Magann. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start working in college athletics?
Yes, so I didn't really know that going into college. I originally came to Coastal as a marketing major, which I still am, almost done with that now. And I was going to work in some of the different business groups we had on campus, but I found that I don't really like that anymore. So I met a guy who used to do what I do now, recruiting, and I went through some interview processes with him for a completely different club on campus. And then he said, well, you clearly don't want to do this anymore. I had ended up turning down the invitation to join. And he's like, you need to come do football. Let's do that. And I said, yes. I went with him and met some of the staff and they were great. And then I just kind of got into it. And I always liked college football, never thought about it as a job. I didn't know a whole lot that was in there. And then I just kind of started going to work, and then I stayed for the summer and worked every day, and I really liked it. And here we are, about a year and a half later.
Of course, what is it like going to Coastal Carolina studying sports science?
So I am a marketing major, and sports studies is my minor. I don't do anything sciencey. I actually haven't taken my science class yet. I only have to take one. Haven't got that far. Um, but I've taken classes like facility management and sports marketing. I loved every minute of that. Sports tourism. This is a great area for sports tourism with Myrtle Beach. We have a lot of that here. And it was a good time. Since I was already working in the football program by the time I started my minor with sports studies, it was kind of nice to be around people who wanted to do the same things. I have a lot common with the people that are RSM majors at Coastal, and a lot more athletes are in those classes, more people I know just from work and everything. And then our facilities class, that was probably my favorite. We got to go tour all the facilities on campus, and of course the football facilities I already knew. I give tours of those all the time, but the rest of them were really fun to get to see the behind the scenes of some other sports.
Of course, during your college time, what was it like being the assistant coach for Academy?
The George Bryan Golf Academy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I did that in high school. I don't do that anymore. In high school, I played golf for our varsity team, and I worked in the summer as an assistant golf coach ish. I really handled more of the registration for our camps and running the management logistic kind of things for the camp, helping out with that. And then I would coach putting and chipping, which is kind of ironic because putting is the worst part of my golf game. But it was a good time. It helped a lot, especially since those were sports camps, and now in the summer I help with our football camps. And I run registration with that a lot. It definitely helped prepare me for what I'm doing now.
Of course, what was it like getting to work at the front office for for the NIL and learning about the NIL?
Yeah, so I don't work for front office sports, but I did take their certification for athlete sports marketing, I think it's called, an NIL. And those are great. I am doing a research project on NIL for the Honors College here at Coastal right now this year. And that's a really good thing to do. Before I started this project, I've always been really interested in NIL throughout my college career. I've done every research project possible on it, and I'm still doing more. For me, NIL is really exciting because it's getting to help guys that I know their potential, and I can see as a marketing major, I can see their marketing potential in all of them and getting to study that, help come up with plans for that. Hopefully some of the stuff I'm working on will be used at Coastal. I'm not sure yet. We're not too deep in there yet, but I enjoyed that certification because it gave me a lot of different point of views to look at when looking at NIL. A lot of people think, oh, just slap the guy's face on a billboard or a TV commercial, but there's a whole lot more that these athletes can do to get NIL exposure and to help their community. I think that's the most important part is they should be giving back through it.
Of course, going through that process, what are some of the things that you've learned about doing the NIL?
So a lot of it has focused on social media. That's a big part of it, of course. That's where a lot of athletes, especially college athletes, make their money. We're all on it every day. I've been on Instagram way too much today, TikTok the same. But I've really enjoyed seeing how NIL has developed the past year. And I know for South Carolina, the state law restricted where no universities could help facilitate NIL deals. And that was really interesting to watch in the state of South Carolina when other states didn't have a law like that. And they were able to make all these deals for their athletes. And we were just kind of sitting there like, okay, this is fun to watch. But now they've taken that law back and changed a lot of things with it so that we can help more. And South Carolina has their Park Avenue in-house group, which looks awesome. I'd love to see and learn more about that. But I think Coastal's doing some really great stuff right now. We're definitely working really hard. We have a director of special projects, Kevin Cristello, who is helping do a lot of NIL stuff. And then they just started the Teal Collective, some former Coastal players and a few other people. I'm not really sure. I haven't gotten to see a whole lot of that yet, but it's very exciting. I know it's good for the players. Some of them don't really care about NIL and some of them love getting to get out there in the community. So it's good that from a Coastal perspective, they can do what they want to do. They've been given a lot of freedom and a lot of area for growth.
Of course, can you talk a little bit more about that Teal that you were talking about?
The Teal Collective,
Mm-hmm.
I honestly wish I could. I don't know a whole lot about it. It just started. I only heard about it about a week and a half ago. I have a brochure for it somewhere. And I really don't know a lot about it. It's like most other collectives, you get a membership and then you get certain access to athletes for your business, or if you just want to like customize birthday call, I guess. I'm not really sure. I know they're coming out with some merchandise for a few of the guys soon. I'm excited about that. I'm gonna go broke soon trying to buy all their shirts and everything, but it's exciting for what's coming. I'm not really sure the details of what's coming. If I knew, I would share, but I don't work for the Teal Collective. I'm not in that. I just get to see it from the sidelines.
How has it been like obviously getting to work on the football operations side and the recruitment side for Coastal Carolina?
It's been awesome. So I came in to do recruiting and mainly just office work as an intern, come in a couple hours a week and send some graphics, do a few other office kind of administration rules, some things that were pretty simple. And then I asked one of my bosses, our assistant director of recruiting and ops, Matt Pierce, I was like, can I stay for the summer? And he said, sure, I don't know what you're going to do, but we'll figure it out. And I said, awesome. And I stayed for the summer and they just kept giving me more and more to do. And that summer, a few weeks later, we had hired our first on-campus recruiting coordinator, Chandler Campbell. She's amazing. I love working with her every day. And I was able to help her. She knew a lot about the recruiting and things like that. And then I knew like Coastal in the area. And so she let me help her out a lot when she first started. She still does. Getting official visits, unofficial visits, all that kind of thing ready. It's been a great time in recruiting. I've done absolutely everything you can think of probably, especially behind the scenes. There's a lot of late nights staying to blow up balloons and set up lights and string light bulbs in some letters and hang them from the ceiling, lots of decorating, lots of things like that. But I've loved all of it. I've learned a lot. And then from the operations side, I've gotten to work a lot really with our chief of staff, used to be director of operations. I think I'm getting his title right, Brad Queen. He is also absolutely amazing. I love working with him every day. He lets me help out with a lot of his kind of office things, and he'll just kind of let me follow him around some days, which is nice. Just lets me kind of do whatever. I'll hop in the golf cart with him and we'll go wherever he has to go. And he's let me help out with a lot there. There's a lot of serving dinner, putting food in lockers, lots of pizza, lots of Bojangles, things like that. And then we get the campus food to cater a lot too. And it's just trying to get all logistic things out, which I love. I'm looking at doing operations, maybe recruiting in the future, but operations is really nice because every day is different and you are definitely not sitting at your desk all day, and that's a lot of fun.
Of course, what has it been like helping with those prospective student athletes when on the official visit for Coastal Carolina?
So I don't do a whole lot for the official visits with the guys. So our official visits take place in June most of the time. There's some that happen at other times in the year, but we like to do it in June because the beach and everything, it's warm, the summer, it's a nice time of year. And I will do a lot leading up to it. We'll get them, snacks for their beds. Every university does that. So we're going shopping, or we're having to go see the hotel, make sure they're set for us to come, go see the restaurants, make sure that we like what it looks like on the inside, meet the staff there. So I tag along for a lot of that, helping out. And then I get a lot of the stuff ready during the week. All of our coaches write them notes, things like that. So I got the fancy handwriting on the outside of the envelope. But a lot of behind the scenes getting ready. And then for the actual official visit, those weekends, I'm not at any of the events. I don't work any of the events because there's strict numbers on who can be where. And I'm not full-time staff. It's not my job. I'm a student intern. So I don't go for those things. I'm usually doing something else on the weekend, but it's really nice to get to help set up. I like behind the scenes. That doesn't bother me at all. Sometimes I prefer it. But most of the time I've met the guys. Maybe I gave them their first tour at Coastal when they came for a game day visit, or even the summer before at a camp. I have met a lot of them, or, we're sending them graphics during the week. I've seen that. And then, of course, when I get in the next Monday, hear all about how the weekend went, and we figure out how to make it better for the next group. And it's always a fun time.
How's that like, obviously, getting to create the graphics for those prospective student athletes?
I definitely do not create those graphics. I cannot draw like that. I cannot work a computer like that. I've never used Photoshop. We have a really awesome creative team that does that. So typically our director of creative media, I think is his title, Connor Wagner, he does a lot of the graphics. And then our photographer slash creative, I honestly don't know what her title is, Tiffany, she does some stuff with that too. And then we have a awesome video student intern guy, Thomas, he does some stuff as well. But they send us the graphic and then we send it to the recruits. I have never made a graphic. I don't think they want me to make a graphic. It would not look that great.
Of course, what are some of your roles and responsibilities along with your duties at Coastal Carolina?
Honestly, kind of depends on the day. A lot of the time, if it's not a dead period, I'm giving tours. And that can be campus tours, facility tours, both. That can be just to the kid and dad, kid and mom, or sometimes they've brought like aunt, uncle, grandma, grandpa, cousins, girlfriend, like they bring like 50 people with them, and there's 3 of us having to do the tour on every golf cart we can find, it's just stuff like that. I do a lot of tours. I help out a lot with like the office work, like I said earlier, behind the scenes. Decorating for events is a big thing because it just takes a lot of people to do the decorating for that stuff. And then operations, just kind of whatever needs to happen that day. Maybe there's a team meeting and all the players had to sign some paperwork. Well, I got to make sure they signed the sign dated it, and if they didn't, got to go find them and get them to sign it. On the other side, sometimes that happens, or, maybe they need their excuses for our travel game days. put in their locker. So I got to separate it out, make sure everyone gets 5, 6, however many it is for that semester, and put it in everyone's locker and make sure that they're ready to go. It's a lot of little things that a lot of people don't think about, I guess. But I love doing stuff like that. It's my favorite part of the day. I really don't have strict responsibilities at this point. It's just kind of whoever calls me first in the office, whoever calls dibs first gets the help for that amount of time, and then we move on from there and do the next thing. It's a lot of different things every day, but that's good. I like it.
What is it like, obviously, getting to work with the NFL relations on behalf of the Coastal Carolina football program?
So I don't do too much there. I helped. I kind of just tagged along with our NFL liaison, Colton Korn. He is an absolutely amazing guy. I'll go ask him if I can tag along, and he usually says yes. And that's awesome. I'm so glad he lets me do that sometimes. Last summer, I did a little more than this summer. During fall camp, I would go and just talk to the scouts and learn from them what they do and how they like their job and what their program team is like. And then maybe they'd ask some questions about the guys' personalities. I usually know a good bit about that. Maybe they'd ask about the academics because, I might have the same major or I might be in the same college that they are, and I'll know a bit more about what class was actually like sometimes. And then this year I didn't do it too much. I was honestly usually kind of busy with other things. We had a lot of new interns, so I was kind of helping get settled in, some things like that, just hanging out with them at practice, show the ropes, so how it goes. But I liked being able to talk about our guys with the scouts. It's really exciting to see them want to talk about our guys, want to see our guys. We have several that I really love that are in the NFL right now. It was very exciting to see them go there, and that whole process leading up to them getting there. I don't do a lot with it. Wish I did more, but it's a great time.
Was it like, obviously, getting to hear those prospective student athletes when they get to try on that Coastal Carolina jersey and come back to you?
All right, I'm not going to lie. You kind of cut out there because my Wi-Fi is bad. Could you repeat that?
Mm-hmm. What is it like getting to see those players when they come back to you talking about how they tried on that Coastal Carolina jersey, that teal jersey?
It's usually pretty exciting. They all love the teal. I think the jersey is cool for most of them, but sometimes, we let them pick what color depending on what kind of visit it is, and they might pick black or they might pick white, whatever it happens to be, whatever combo they want. But when we walk out onto the field, the surf turf with that really awesome, unique teal on the field, that's very exciting for a lot of them because TV does not do it justice. Everyone thinks it's blue. It is not. Honestly, it's closer to green than it is blue. But I mean, I love the color teal. I think it's very unique. It definitely helps with the beach vibe that we try to push for our program, and especially recruiting wise. It's really exciting. They get super happy. The phones immediately get pulled out. They're filming everything. They're spinning around, filming things, and I kind of sit and wait for them to finish all their photos, and then we walk out and we talk about the stadium. Lots of facts about everything going on there. But it's nice that other people get as excited about it as you do. Like I love going out, walking out on the field. There were days where maybe I've been in the office just working on the computer for a few hours straight, and I'm like, okay, I need to stretch my legs, and we'll walk down and do a lap around the field and come back. And in the sunlight, the teal always looks really awesome, and it's usually getting put on my Instagram story that day, even though all my followers have seen it 50 million times before. It looks awesome in photos. There's really nothing like it. And then the brick background of Brooks Stadium. We got brick everywhere across campus, but that's really unique, I think, for a stadium. And it looks awesome. And then the palmetto trees in the background, everything like that, really just, for me as a native South Carolinian, nothing could be more South Carolina than that. It's the recruits get excited, and it makes me excited that they love it so much.
Of course, what is that feeling like, obviously, as you said, getting to walk on that Teal field?
It's awesome. So I don't run out with the team or anything like that. I'm not on the sideline during the game. I am before the game because we have the recruits down there, but just during the day, maybe it's me and another intern that I'm close with. We walk out there just to do a lap real fast, stretch our legs, and it's just a beautiful sight, honestly. And then sometimes maybe I'll drive past it at night and it's got the lights on and you can see everything. And for me, I'm at the stadium so much, you're kind of like, oh, that's home because I'm just there all the time. It's very nice. The picture of the stadium and the field is the background on my laptop. I think it's just I think it's one of the prettiest things you could see that's not exactly nature itself, I guess. I love looking at different, nature kind of things. It's always really cool, but the field is just so unique. And for me, it has so many memories in it that I just couldn't think of anything more exciting to look at every day. I'm very honored and blessed to be able to work there every day.
How's it been like, obviously, balancing working in college athletics and also having a life outside of college athletics?
It gets hard, especially being a full-time student at the same time. This is the first semester I'm not taking 18 credit hours, which is the max for full-time students, and it's hard, but you work it out. I'll go into work about 3 days a week for the entire day, but then the other 2 days I go to class. This semester, I'm really lucky that the way it worked out, I'm not in the classroom very often, so I have a nice lunch break. I get to go hang out with my friends at the dining hall on campus, and then at night I can kind of do whatever I want to do. Honestly, most of the time it's just staying in watching TV with a friend or something, or maybe going with my roommate to grab dinner real fast. And then really on the weekends, I don't have to go to work. It's not a requirement. I'm not supposed to be there. I go in every once in a while. If we had a scrimmage during fall camp, I'd go watch the scrimmage, but then I would leave for the rest of the day. You gotta prioritize yourself every once in a while, and I'm a strong believer in that and taking some time for yourself. And you just kind of have to figure it out as you go. I don't think there's any special formula or any way that's going to work for everyone. You just kind of have to find that balance as you work and go along. And, some days are more important for me to be in the office than others. There, a Friday before a home game in the fall is much more important for me to be in the office than a Monday morning in the middle of January. It's, and you just kind of go along with it as you're there. And I'm really lucky that everyone at Coastal is very, very focused on me getting my academics straight and me having a life. This semester I have a lot more classwork than I have before because it's my year. It's getting a lot heavier, and whenever I need to leave to go meet with classmates to do a project, they're perfectly fine with me leaving and having a 2-hour lunch break to go do that. But and they also, I'm always available, always on call. If they really need help, they know that they can call me, and I'll definitely be there. And there's nights where I stay late, after the football game this past Saturday against Army. We were cleaning up the office, and I remembered that I had forgotten all of our reserve signs on the bleachers, so I had to run back down and go clean them up and pick them up. And that meant I was staying there for an extra little while, and that's totally fine. I didn't matter to me. Went and got it all, and then still got to talk to some of the guys, say good game, get upstairs, clean up, and it. By the time that I was done, my roommate was back to pick me up. It didn't really matter. So I think it's just take it day by day, kind of figure it out however works best for you.
Of course, what are some of the qualifications that people that are looking to work in college athletics, specifically on the football recruitment operations side, need to think about?
I think for a student, if you're trying to just be a student intern like me at any college, it's more in the passion for the game, your personality, how open you are to learning than it is any real qualifications. Some places might be different. I did not play football. You can't, as a girl, you probably aren't going to get to play football in the South. It wasn't a thing. It's still not a super big thing. It's getting better, and I hope it continues to get better. Sarah Fuller getting to play for Vanderbilt as the kicker. I hope it gets even bigger and better than that. But I'm not some crazy good film analyst. I like to watch quarterbacks sometimes. I like to watch linebackers. I can kind of tell you some things they do as it relates to Coastal. But I learned that from working at Coastal. I was taught that by everyone on staff. So I think it's more just you want to be there for the right reasons. You want to learn. You are very excited to learn and be there about football, and you have a passion, of course, for the team and for football. That's definitely big. If you're trying to recruit guys to come play on the team, you can't hate the school. It's not going to work very well. Um, and I think just being open to talking to people, there's a lot of conversation and talking in this job. I am extremely introverted, and this job has made me better at being extroverted. I have to randomly walk up to people that I do not know and start talking to them. And that can be stressful, but I got better at it. And I think just being open to doing those things, having those experiences, learning, you've got to be a hard worker. I'm not saying you have to be first one in, last one out, because I don't think that's healthy. And I don't think that's going to be the one thing that sets you apart in every place you work. I know that I did that a little bit, and I do have that some days, and there's other days where I'm not going to go to work at all. That's just how it is. But I think hard work for while you are there, and definitely be there. Don't be someone who only comes in for an hour a week. That's not, you're not going to learn anything, but spend your time there wisely. And when you're looking for that job, just be excited about it. Be open and honest about what you want to do. You're there to learn. And if they're expecting you to have all this crazy qualifications for it as a student in college, especially if you're like a freshman, you're just not going to have that. The most you might have is if you played football, or maybe your dad was a football coach. There's not a whole lot more you could really have at that point for recruiting. It doesn't exist before college, or if your high school's recruiting, and that's kind of against the rules. They shouldn't be doing that. But I think it's just more in the passion, your personality, being open and being ready to work hard and learn.
Of course, what are some of the things that you learned on the side of recruitment in college before getting now that you're there?
I learned a lot of the NCAA rules. Those are important. You can't do anything in that office until you learn those rules. They will pound that into your brain. You don't even need to worry. They will tell you what the rules are. The NCAA has a lot of rules, and that's okay. It tries to keep things fair, and it's important to know them so that you don't get your school in trouble. So I definitely learned a lot on that side. But also, I think I learned a lot about just how football works in general. I think that was important, just seeing how the game works from an insider's perspective. And then compared to a fan, I know what these football players go through on a day-to-day basis. I understand it a lot better. I think that makes me a little more defensive of them. When I see fans saying something on Twitter, I'm like, well, he had a lot going on this week. Maybe don't hate on him so much. But I'm not going to respond to things like that. We all know the truth. A fan has every right to their opinion, and I think it was good to learn from the inside on what actually goes on for a football team and for the football players themselves. And that's not necessarily recruiting specifically. I think that's just any job working for a football team. There's so much more depth there than you can see just from a news article or from a game. There's a lot more to these guys than just the number on the jersey.
Of course, what advice would you give people such as yourself looking to work inside college athletics on the recruitment side?
The best piece of advice I think I was ever given that I like to share with some friends and stuff is network and be open. Always be open to learning and always be open to meeting new people, doing new experiences. I think that's important no matter what job you're looking for, but sports is very network based, I've been told and I have seen. I got my job from networking, from knowing a guy on campus. And a lot of the people that we hire get their job because they knew someone who worked it. That's just how it kind of goes. And knowing these people, being willing to meet these people can be kind of scary. But once you start getting out there, you learn more, and it's just fun. Everyone is just like you. They are a normal person. Everyone has, insecurities, whatever you want to go with, and they also have strengths and weaknesses. And I just think that if you look at everyone as the same, kind of, everyone has their own struggles and all that, then it's a lot easier to talk to people. And once you start doing that, you'll figure it out as you keep going. I think it's just talking to people and being open to learn everything you can.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with the Coastal Carolina football program at?
All right, so the Coastal football, our Twitter, I should have had this pulled up, my bad. Coastal football Twitter is at Coastal football with a capital C and a capital F. I think it's the same on Instagram. Definitely give a follow. Our creative team is awesome. We and our guys are hilarious. They do a lot of awesome stuff on there. My Twitter is at Magann Noelle, Magann, and then Noelle. My Instagram is private, so I don't share that. And I don't usually let people that I don't know follow me on there, but my Twitter is definitely public. It is basically a Coastal football fan account. Welcome to follow on there. I usually am just retweeting things, maybe tweeting things about the guys. And then if anyone likes TikTok, me and another intern run our own TikTok page. It's called the Intern Chronicles. I think did we spell it right? Intern and then Chronicles, CHRONICALS. Hopefully that's spelled right. If not, that's kind of embarrassing, but that's the username now. We make a lot of funny content on there. Me and Francesca, one of the other interns, we just, whenever we're having a good time, it's really random things that pop up on there, but it's usually kind of entertaining.
Thank you again, Noelle, for your interview, and best of luck in your future at Coastal Carolina for the football recruitment operations as an intern.
Thank you so much. It was nice getting to talk to you today.
Thank you. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Noelle, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.